สมาชิกคณะปันสงเคราะห์จีนปรัชญาเรียนสามัคคีกลุ่มนันเนียสังคมบอมรากาเปียกัมพูชีหมายกลุ่มรักเนียเปียมเปียสันเสรีไอ้กระเรียนโบราณเพียมอาทัพปไตยหมายประเสริฐโดประดันไทยรักษามันอ้อยบอตึงเฉลียนเปียนโมกตรวตราสมบัติโดนตาทนเทียนจิตขมายเรียงอาทิตย์เรียงบอมลือกัมพูชีขมายไอ้เทียมเนียต้องสลายปัญหาโยบายเศรษฐกิจสังคมอันหังษาสปอร์ตไลท์คลาจีเบียบเพียมรุ่งเรืองได้ยืนตูยืนผู้คนยืนขมายกรองลานสังคมจีนการรักชนะไอ้จอมเราอำนาจจุนประเจียตามไปกัมพูชีรวมรู้เสียงสานเจโยคณะป่าสังคมจีนสมาชิกคณะปันสังคมจีนปรัชญาไม่เขียนสามัคคีกลุ่มนันเนียสังคมบอมรากาเปียกัมพูชีหมายกลุ่มรักเนียเปียมเปียสันเสรีไอ้กระเรียนโบราณเพียมอาทัพปไตยหมายประเสริฐโดประดันไทยรักษามันอ้อยบอตึงเฉลียนเปียนโมกตรวตราสมบัติโดนตาทนเทียนจิตขมายเรียงอาทิตย์เรียงบอมพลือกัมพูชีมาไอ้กระเทียมเนียต้องสลายปัญหานโยบายเศรษฐกิจสังคมอันหังษาสปอร์ตไลท์คลาจีเบียบเพียมรุ่งเรืองได้ยืนตูยืนผู้คนยืนขมายกรองลานสังคมจีนไทยรักบอชนาดไอ้จอมประดออำนาจจุนประเจียตามไปกัมพูชีรวมรู้เสียงสาน
and good evening. A warm welcome to Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. We really appreciate you here live with us today. This program is proudly operated under the banner of CNRP-America, and I am your host, Linda Wu. Thank you for joining me. I am joining you in real time from the beautiful state of California. Whether you are Tuesday evening or Wednesday morning, wherever you at, regardless of where your locations, we are happy that you are here with us and welcome to our show. Our mission is to make sure we talk about political landscape in Cambodia. We firmly believe that it is very important for our overseas youth to actively championship democratic principle and oppose authoritarian practice in Cambodia. So my primary goal for hosting this show is to empower our Khmer youth overseas and to encourage them to actively participate in a formal decision-making process, and it's a way to bring the latest update of what's going on in Cambodia so they are aware. And once again, I'm Linda Wu, and for the durations of the show of this program, we will only be exclusively talking in English, so that way our overseas youth can understand. CNRP America offers Khmer show 6 days per week. It is different hosts, different topics each day. So please tune in. Please, it's from Wednesday to Monday, and it's very engaging. So please tune in and listen to our Khmer show as well. Also, if you enjoy my show, please, I just request to like and share. Our topic for tonight is monthly update, and I am very fortunate to have my wonderful and passionate host alongside with me. She should be hosting or should be introducing this show soon. So one day she gonna take this place. So let me welcome her. Her name is Brittany Baker. Let me bring her out. So Brittany, how are you?
I'm great. I'm glad to be back with the most engaging host.
Thank you, my co-host, for being here.
You're welcome.
You said you're back. Where have you been?
I was in Taiwan. I just returned from attending a conference in Taipei, Taiwan.
I saw a beautiful picture. How is this your first time in Taiwan?
Yeah, it's my first time. It was an amazing experience. I went a few days before the conference to explore the country, and was amazed by the public transportation, the clean environment, a lot of green spaces. The people were very kind, and it was interesting to learn about the importance of democracy in everyday life there. We hear a lot about Taiwan and the pressure and threats from China. So it was very interesting to see that through being there and interacting in the workshop with Taiwanese political minded people, people from the ruling party DPP. So it's very interesting and informative experience.
Thank you for sharing that. I just forgot to do a public announcement before I bring you out. On September 22nd, we having a rally in New York City in front of the UN. I am inviting all our audience. Please join me. Please join the Khmer community. I will be there, and I would love to meet everyone. So please join us on September 22nd, starting from 10 a.m. in front of the United Nations in New York. Let me see if I can have a flyer up. Here we go. So it's all the flyers on CNRP America Facebook page. Friday, September 22nd, from 10 to 3 p.m. Please join us. Please join me. Please join the Khmer community. It's not on just about CNRPA. Basically, it's the Khmer community that putting this rally together, peaceful rally. So please join us. To not recognize Hun Manet as the Cambodia legitimate representative. Hun Manet will be at the UN, so please show up, please show your disagreement, and our theme would be no Hun regime and no Hun Manet. So please join us. Friday, September 22nd, this basically it's next week, from 10 to 3 p.m. Also, we have a event also on Saturday at the temple. So please join us on that as well. Let me find the locations. It's at Khmer Buddhist Society Inc. It's in Bronx, New York. We will have a solidarity fundraisers for political activists for democracy. So please join us as well. The temple address is 2738 Marin Avenue, Bronx, New York. Please let me know if you need the address, or this is the poster for the rally on next Friday on September 22nd. Please join us. Let us know that's the address. So we are having, I believe so far the head count right now is probably 300 people, but we welcome the Khmer community. As long as as Khmer, you love democracy, please join us on September 22nd from 10 to 3 p.m. So please, I will be there. I would love to meet everyone. So please show up, speak up against the Hun regime. Let me see. So that's the public announcement for today. Sorry, Brittany, for interrupting you. I just remember you need to talk about democracy. Now it's going back to Taiwan. Do you feel the pressure of China in Taiwan when you were there?
Yeah, it's interesting that you should ask that because I talked to some of the local sellers when I was exploring different parts of Taiwan, and they shared some of their experiences being so close to China and having the influence of China, despite wanting to maintain, their own separate country. So the everyday people are feeling this, which is the reason why CAL, the Council of Asian Liberal and Democrats, decided to have their 30-year anniversary in Taiwan. This organization has brought together South Asian, East Asian, liberal democratic parties for the past 30 years, so much so that China has identified them as a threat, and they sanctioned CALD last year for standing alongside Taiwan. So the 30-year anniversary being held in Taipei was to honor the democracy and the developments of the civil society in Taiwan, while also showing China that their encroachment in the region, including their pressure and their threats and their targeted action against Taiwan, won't be tolerated. So I think it's very much present in the everyday life of Taiwan, was the sense that I got, and talking to other delegates from the conference was the big takeaway.
Part of the conference, you also joined a leadership training for women, and you were able to meet a lot of women. Were you able to get inspired by their struggle, inspired by what they've gone through, and the different women from, I believe, Southeast Asia?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very motivating workshop to network, and that's one of the ideas of bringing people together, is to network and share ideas and share strategies of things that have worked in the region. So it was very informative to be able to sit in a group with women from the Philippines, from Indonesia, from Malaysia, who have very similar struggles in the fight for democracy and human rights, and to hear what has been successful in their towns and their cities and their villages and their respective countries was really important and inspiring, and reminded me that Cambodia's long struggled with having a dictatorship, but so hasn't the Philippines. And so it was interesting to talk to people from regional areas to see what has been effective in their fight for human rights and democracy.
Would you go back if they invite you for the 31st anniversary?
Yes, of course, I would be honored to attend any more events. I don't want to take the place of a Cambodian to go, but I was very happy to be able to attend this one. And it provided me more energy to continue to do this work from where I am in the U.S. It was a life-changing event, and very inspiring to see people of all ages, all nationalities, all religions in a similar fight, a similar struggle, and reminded myself that this is the fight for democracy and human rights is a marathon. It's not something that will be achieved even probably in my lifetime or our lifetime, but it's something that we have to fight for every day. And the actions that we have here in the United States affect the things that happen around the world. And so while we might have a big distance, many miles that separate us from Cambodia or Asia, but we still have some duty in this. And we have, in my opinion, some responsibility to speak up and to give our skills in the fight for democracy.
And we wouldn't be happy that you represent us over there, because you do in America, you do work and you do advocate for Cambodia on behalf of the Cambodian people inside Cambodia. So thank you for that, Brittany. And I'm sure our audience see you every month to give updates, and update is not update from anywhere, always update from America regarding to Cambodia. And what you and I always talk about the youth, the next generation. They should be aware of what's going on in Cambodia, and that's what we're doing. That's what I'm doing, even though it's tough. Like you said, it's tough. Like, we probably never gonna see the fruit. Might never see. Hopefully I can see the fruit of democracy, real democracy in Cambodia. But the hope is still there. And from meeting with different women, meeting different people from Southeast Asia, it is possible. The hope is still there, and that's what Brittany is talking about. And I want our audience to also to, it's not a, what did they call? It's not a sprint. It's a marathon where you keep going, you keep hoping, and you continue to have hope and have that fire burning in you to continue on the good cause, the cause that we believe in. So
yeah. And that picture that you showed a minute ago of the Taiwanese vice president, he joined for part of the conference to sign a joint declaration with the other members of CALD to show support and safeguard democracy in Asia. So it's a very strong declaration to Asian country members and also to China that democracy is alive and well, and there are many people that are still in the fight for this, despite encroaching China. Another thing I want to point out here is the woman on the far left is from Ukraine, and she's the president of the International Youth Federation, I believe is her title. And she shared gratitude for the people of Taiwan and the Taiwanese government for very clearly speaking out against the Russian invasion in Ukraine and for sending aid to Taiwan. So she was there representing Ukraine. So it again reminds us of the power of solidarity and the strength in numbers. And another big thing that came out of this conference was, as I mentioned, there were human rights defenders there from Cambodia, people that are like struggling every single day at the forefront of this fight. There were people from youth from the Philippines who were fighting a resurgence of a dynasty dictatorship there, similar to what we see in Cambodia, and also from Indonesia. And something that was a takeaway for me is that while Taiwan is a beacon of democracy now, and they have a lot of gender equality represented in their Liberal Party, 60 years ago, they had very similar struggles to what we see in Cambodia and the Philippines and Indonesia. And their local politicians who have won elections expressed that 60 years ago, we were in the same place that you are in now. So, this is a marathon. Keep fighting, and, you will get there. The power of the people will always win.
Thank you, Brittany, for sharing that. And that's very inspiring to actually see and to actually hear and to actually meet people that been there, done that, and to a country like Taiwan, like it's a beautiful country, it's very clean. Unlike Cambodia, it's for the last 40 years from dictators still trash on the street. It's looks very, very clean, even though it's with monsoon season, right? Were you there? It's
Oh,
monsoon,
yeah.
but still, yeah, it's still.
Yeah, actually, a typhoon hit while we were there. So yeah, they're facing a lot of natural disasters also. But despite that, it's very, very clean. So it shows me and shows other people, hopefully, what is capable for other countries in that region.
Well, it's capable too. For the last 40 years, if people want to solve trash issue, they would solve trash issue, but it's still corruption as usual.
Yeah.
Talking about fighting, talking about still fighting, I want to share a story. Let me try to play a little bit of a video clip, and then I'm going to take the voice out so that way you can see what's going on. This video clip is since we're doing the update, is the former student of National Institutions of Physical Education and Sport. He is one of the 12 students that got removed from the school in December 2021. His name is Gao Sawanarit. So is out there protesting every Monday. So let me share a little bit and what he gone through. This is, let me see. You guys will see the screen as soon as I can find the video. Okay. So again, there is no noise, no noise because we want to speak. We want to speak over this. So he, like said, he is a youth. His name is Gao Suwanarit. He is, so basically, he is a former student of the National Institutions of Physical Education and Sport. He got removed, and the reason he got removed because of his height. They have a requirement that I believe the requirement you have to be youth, you have to have a certain length, a certain weight, a certain. So they accepted him. He went and trained for 1 month, and then he got removed. And from that, and he said that's very unfortunate that he got removed. Also, he noticed that other student that how what that's not qualified like their age. Brittany, you want to chime in some more because this is about one student actually fighting every Monday.
Yeah, and we were talking before this show, and I shared with you that this story in particular, all of these stories make me angry, like very angry to watch these videos and the violence that young people and activists are incurring every day. But this one in particular makes me very angry because he's 20 years old. He is a student in university. Very strong, brave kid who reminds me of many of my students in Cambodia. And he is doing the right thing and protesting. And he has tried through all of the proper legal channels to hear from the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport, and to like get a response from them and to open dialogue about him being admitted back into the school and why he was expelled after being admitted. So it's very frustrating that there's no option for him. And not only is there no option, but when he speaks out and stands in front of the ministry, he, as we'll see in a minute, is violently attacked. and accused by the authorities, and he's peacefully protesting. This should be his right. And it's not like he's asking for, the prime minister to give him $1 million or something. Like, he's asking for the right to study. He's asking for the right to partake in higher education to improve his life and his knowledge and the life of his family and community. So he is among 12 students who were expelled after they already started the program. And as you mentioned, it's because there are specific requirements for height. And I think he was maybe 3 or 4 inches too short for these requirements, which I worked in a government school in Cambodia. So I'm just thinking about teachers that I worked alongside with that went through a teacher training program like this, that went through the physical education teacher training program. And I understand their curriculum. I understand the lessons that they conduct at the school. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I cannot understand why they have height requirements. I mean, maybe I'm missing something, but it seems so arbitrary, so silly that this is what's preventing this young man from continuing his education.
It's not based on qualifications. It's not based on how hard you try. They disqualify him based on his height. I'm not sure in Cambodia there is a discrimination law, but in America, for sure, this young man will sue this education center, Ministry of Education and Sport, for basically discriminate against him, discriminate against who he is. The height has nothing to do his capability to perform his job. Let me let me play another video. So this was actually yesterday, was on Monday, because he is protesting on Monday. And I'm encouraged, if you are a youth in Cambodia, and when you look at that, there's many things that's wrong. First of all, one is, if you have set a limit, if you say, okay, you have to be a certain height, you have to be a certain age, you have to be a certain weight, then that rule should apply to everyone and everyone who apply. But unfortunately, in this case, what he said, that he's there because there's three other students that's older than the age limit, and they're still in school. So what is their excuse? So that's another corruption in Cambodia, where if you have money, if you know anybody, and you want to be somewhere, you got connection, you move ahead. And that's what happened. What he's complaining is, first of all, what he want to go back to school. He want to go back to the school. That's number one. And if he couldn't go back to that school because of the height, then of his height, then the limit should be set for everyone. Meaning, if the height, the weight, whatever the qualification is, everyone should abide by that qualifications. And that's what he's standing by right now, that he is standing firm. And it's true that it should be true, because you don't want to be going to school and you said, oh, this is the limitation, this is the standard, but the standard only apply to you, where it doesn't apply to the next person. And that's what he's fighting right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Okay. And that's what this young man going through every Monday. I believe he is out there for the last 6 Monday, and let me see. Last time when you see him holding the poster, the banner, he has also wear a mask where it's crossed out his on the mask. That's what he's saying, that they are telling him to stop talking. So, and this is what he's been through. Monday, I think yesterday was the 6th Monday that he's out there. So is it necessary to authority to rough him up? All he does is stand there with a banner. What else did he do? That is required. How many people, how many authority to drag him, to push him like that?
Yeah, I think it indicates how fragile their power is, that they're so threatened by one young man standing there silently with a sign and one person, videotaping him. It shows how limited and how shaky their power is. This reminds me of the Friday women, who are much like him, protesting every week for the release of their loved ones who are in prison. And they're also attacked and threatened like this, and surveilled by the authorities in Cambodia. And I don't understand how the dictator can say that there's any sort of free speech or democracy in Cambodia, when this is common. This is what happens when people try to express their rights and ask for fair treatment and justice to be served.
What he translating his speeches, he's like, he's raising the banner every Monday, so that way he's seeking transparency. He want to make sure that all the young men, and including him, he wants transparency. So he's going to continue to protest in front of Ministry of Education. What he demand that the ministry give justice to him and 11 other young people. I haven't seen another 11 young people. I mean, I saw that picture, but I only see him out there every Monday. So he want the ministry to give justice to him and 11 other young people who were removed from the school, regarding due to their height. So basically, these 12 people are short, and that's what the answer. And I'm not sure our audience ever met Brittany or I. We probably be disqualified since they see us. So this topic is very touching to us, because we are very capable women, but we are not very tall. So to be honest, this is height discrimination, weight discriminations, discrimination on and also it's not based on what the person can perform the job.
Right. And it'll be interesting to follow this story, because the building, I believe the building where this student and the others were studying to be a physical education, is called the National Institute of Physical Education, which was funded by Japan, at least in part, but I think primarily by Japan. And I would hope that the Japanese government is aware of what's happening here at the facility that was funded by their government. And also in this video, on his Facebook page, you can see his name here. He's asking people to follow his story, to share, to broadcast what's happening to him. And I think one easy way to support this young man is to share his videos, to hopefully have a very far reach, to show people what's happening to students and to activists and brave people like him inside Cambodia.
Yeah, so this video is actually from his website. We do not get contact by him. We do not get contact by his friend or the 11 other student to talk about his story. We pick it up because we feel that in addition to discriminating, in addition to so many things that's gone wrong with this it seemed like I'm having low signal. In addition to being a student, being a youth, the regime, like Brittany said, scared and afraid of anyone just holding a banner. He's out there holding a banner, and not every day, every Monday. And unfortunately, that's what he has to face every Monday, just like Friday Women who face that every single Friday. So that's one of the topic. And I said, like, I played the video from his website. We do not get contact by him. We just pick the story up because we feel that the youth deserve a voice. He deserve a voice. He is out there bringing awareness. He want transparency. And like anything out in Cambodia, when I said corruption, it's like why is he and 11 other students got kicked out because of their high requirement doesn't meet the standard, but other students, what make them so special that they are still studying? I have not read this book. I saw it while I was Google around. It's like Cambodia's for sale, talking about the schools education, where the school is, I'm sure Brittany know that it's public. There's a lot of private school in Cambodia, where so if you have money, if you basically, in order to known as middle class or have some money, people would put their children into private school, and private school is growing like mushroom in Cambodia. Um, I know Brittany used to teach in public school. And also another system that I'm very annoyed at in Cambodia is like the student would go to school. The requirement for student to go to school is half a day. So they would go either first half or second half. And the half that they don't go to school, they would go to tutor. So the teacher that teach them in the class would be tutoring them for a fee. So unfortunately, that just the parent had to pay for that. So it's not free education. And also, like Cambodia, private school is growing like mushrooms. So I just saw, I haven't purchased yet. There's a book. It's called Cambodia's for Sale. So it's something talking about public school and private school, that everything in Cambodia is about my money, buying everything you can buy with money in Cambodia. So anything you want to add, Brittany, on that?
No, again, just encourage people to share his videos and to follow along with what's happening. I think he needs our support to demand for him to study, to be reinstated at the university. And also, I don't know if you've heard this, but several people I've heard have said to me about the Minister of Education in Cambodia that he, has a very high education, and that, we should give him a chance, and he's the more fair of the government ministers and things like this. And I never really understood that, because all along it's there's been issues like this, and as you mentioned, a lot of corruption within the school system. And yes, I think him in part created some reform with the 12th grade national exam to cut down on cheating and corruption and things like that. However, when things like this are still happening and students are being expelled because they're 2-3 inches too short, and there's no dialogue with the Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports for the students who are demanding some dialogue, then I don't see any benefit in that minister. I'm no longer holding out benefit of doubt for someone that is letting the mistreatment of students continue.
Yesterday, when Monday. He while he's protesting, he's joined by Mother Nature Youth and also the Naga World Strikers. So he's not there by himself yesterday. So please, if you are in Cambodia, please join this young man's struggle. He been out there by himself trying to bring transparency, and I have said it again and again, corruption is not just in one place. Corruption in Cambodia is a system. It's every single system, every level, from the top down to from the bottom up. So it's everything need to be resolved from the top down. So it's the leadership when I'm talking about corruption. And when people are arguing with me, I'm trying to not to be so um, out there talking about corruption, but I'm saying I always tell people when people say, "Oh, this place is corrupt, but my place not corrupt." I say, "No, it doesn't work that way. When it's corruption, corruption is by the state. Corruption is from the top down. So this is not the only place that's corrupt. It's the whole country corrupt. So people have to understand. People have to be aware that, and sooner or later." You would say, it will never happen to my son. It will never happen to my children. Never happen to me. It's not going to ever happen to me. One of these days will happen to you because it will be your turn. So um, I do not wish bad stuff on you or anybody, but I'm just saying, please join in with this young man that out there struggling, trying to find transparency, trying to find a system. And he said that he wanted to go back to school, and if he couldn't go back to school, then other people that not does not qualify, that does not meet the standard, should not be in there. That's all he's asking. So that's what two of the reasons that he talked about wanting to go back to school. And this is dragged on since 2021. So it's almost 2 years already. So, and with anything else, the regime just hopeful that it die down, that they would brush this off under the rug and move on. But because so many people are not talking, so many people are just said, I'm only one person. How can I change? If you look at this young man, is one person and 11 other, but he's out there by himself. I haven't seen the other 11. I have seen their picture, but I have not seen them out there with him. So this one man, one kid, one youth, 20 years old, making a big impact, and also making news that every Monday now, they are so worried. They have 4 or 5 authority just out there dragging him, monitor him. So they pay attention. So there's hope out there in Cambodia. There's hope that one person can make a difference. And if anybody would tell you, oh, you again, gazillion people that corrupted, and so one person can make a difference.
Absolutely. We'll follow this because I think
Yes,
he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, and he does have his own Facebook page, so you want to follow him. Like I said, I'm not promoting his Facebook page. He does not pay me to get promoted. His Facebook page, we do not get paid to talk about him. We just think that it's really courageous of him to bring upon himself for change, while other people who's not willing to do it. When he's 20 years old, he's willing to change. Okay, talking about forcing our school, let's move on to forced evictions. Let me bring up let me see. Hopefully I can bring up a video. This is what happened when you do your own Facebook Live and you have to be technical about everything. So you have to bring up all these pictures. So if you are if you are a professional Facebook Live, then you probably have help. But unfortunately, we don't have help. Just Brittany and I. So this is a report by Amnesty International. This was out September 10, 2023, so 2 days ago, and it say World Heritage Committee must not ignore mass forced eviction around Angkor Wat. Do you remember this early this year, Brittany, when people are being evicted from Angkor Wat?
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, and there have been so many issues of land grabbing and concessions and selling land out from under people and tricking people to sell or to sign over their land plots. There have been so many stories of that throughout Cambodia, and I'm like, wait a second. Oh yeah, okay, that's another one. So yeah, very sad situation. And the way that the regime is presenting this is that the people that live around the temples volunteer to leave, which I think is very problematic because they didn't volunteer. And this is what happens when the media is not free and fair and independent. Then it's very difficult to get accurate news and information. So I'm very thankful for Amnesty International for covering this.
I have let me see, a video I want to play. This is 7 minutes, but I'm going to go through it. Let me see.
National government authority that manages Angkor Wat and is overseeing the relocation.
They do not possess the legal rights to be here. So that is the reason why we asking them to voluntarily relocate. While they're staying here, they do have the impacts. The rubbish, the whatever that they're producing is still there.
Cambodia's government and the man who ruled the country for 38 years, outgoing Prime Minister Hun Sen, say residents'
There's no video,
homes
right?
and
You can only hear
businesses
noise.
are damaging the site and could see
I saw the
Angkor
video.
Wat lose its spot on the
You saw that
UNESCO
video?
World Heritage List. But the government's eviction plan means that thousands are being displaced. For 16 years, Shrey Mom has run a roadside restaurant just a short distance from Angkor Wat. She built the business from nothing and relies on it to provide for her 2 daughters, including a 1-month-old baby. But Shrey's home and business will soon be destroyed. Shrey says she's had to take out a $40,000 bank loan to build a new house at the resettlement site, and she's worried how she'll earn money to support her family. This is one of the places they'll be sent to, the sprawling Lun Taek land development. To convince residents of the Angkor archaeological site to move here, Cambodia's government is offering a support package. This includes a plot of land, corrugated iron to build a house, and a welfare payment paid in part by the Australian government.
They do not have
So you got the idea.
sewage, electricity.
According to the report that came out, that came out yesterday, lack appropriate safeguard again. So basically, it's a mass evictions, like Brittany said, and I don't know why in Cambodia it's keep happening. Like I I think one of these days I should sit down and actually write down in 1 week if there how many locations when they're talking about forced eviction, talking about land grabbing, talking about the same thing, forced eviction, so they can take the land and develop, and that is every corner of Cambodia. So this place, it's make a lot of noise because it is around Angkor Wat. So when so they force people, they say they don't force people, but it's over 10,000 families that actually have to force to leave. When they resettle, they have a site for them to resettle. But the basic, from the UN basic principle regarding development-based eviction is that the government is supposed to provide drinking water, house, sanitations, access to school, all that need to be provided. But I thought I share a picture. I'm going to share a picture again. Does this look like a house that is having running water? This is a house that is even a house. So this is violating the UN basic principle and guidance on development based on evictions. And this story is going to get a lot more news in the next couple of weeks, because it's very unfortunate situation where people are forced to leave their home, are forced not just 1, 2, 3 family, it's 10,000 of families that affected by this. Anything you want to add, Brittany?
Yeah. Do you have a few hours? This is also, now I'm angry again about this issue. It's so frustrating, as this young mother talked about the repercussions for her family. So she borrowed $40,000 from a micro lender, which you know how I feel about that. So she's going to be indebted forever. Any property, any land, anything that she owns, even sending her kids to work in like brick factories, she will probably never realistically pay $40,000 back. She was just a seller that was living day to day around the temples. And her kid will be moved out and moved away to a new school, breaking the community connection there from her family and the community that she grew up in. There are huge consequences for this, for thousands of people. And Hun Sen has been quoted to say that I won't give a dime, I won't give a cent to anyone who is evicted. So if it were not for the government of Germany and Australia, who gave a tiny bit of money and some supplies to build the house like you see here, those thousands of people wouldn't get anything to start a new life in this foreign resettlement area. It's very sad, and the implications are huge. And as someone who has enjoyed seeing the beautiful temples in Siem Reap, this makes me so angry and makes me so upset that to know that the regime is saying, like, you know, because we need to protect this UNESCO World Heritage Site, and because the tourists are coming here to see the temples, we must evict people, we must clean it up, and they can't live here anymore. These people have lived here for decades and decades and decades. Like, this is their home, this is their land, this is how they make their livelihood. So to force them off is very frustrating. It also reminds me a few months ago about how the temple authorities, the Apsara authorities, a government-based group there who's managing the temples, went on this campaign. What was it? 1 million paper hearts, or 10,000
Yes.
paper, right? So it just,
Small country, big heart.
yeah, small country, big heart. supposedly just the focus, the priority from the regime and from the local authorities is baffling to me. I'm really speechless. I don't know how they can justify this. And I hope that UNESCO and the World Heritage Committee are putting pressure on the authorities to speak up for the people, because what I know about the UNESCO World Heritage sites, I visited them in other countries. I know that the people that live around those sites are supposed to be protected too. Sure, it's hard to like move into those sites if you didn't already have like a historical connection to that land, but these people are not new residents. These are people that have long lived around the temples. They're not creating additional like environmental stress on the area. These are people that were probably, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations in this area. So I don't understand. But I mean, I guess there's no logic behind a regime and a dictatorship who is focused on repressing the people and doesn't see the social problems with evictions and creating, financial dependence on micro lending and moving people away from their communities and their schools and their connections. So again, I hope the international community, World Heritage Committee, UNESCO, I hope they're following this and I hope they're committed. And it's not okay that it's international countries that are stepping up and giving, I think it's $300 to each family that's evicted. Why is that not coming from within, right? Like Hun Sen is very quick to limit the power of foreign government, and during elections to criticize the United States and other foreign government. But who, during a social problem like this, who is the party that steps in? It's not Hun Sen, it's not the regime, it's the foreign governments who are stepping in. So on one hand, you're taking money from them, right? And then on the other hand, you're criticizing them. So I don't know. It's just it's not adding up for me.
And when our audience look at this, when our viewers look at this and don't see any issue, I hope you see issue. The you said, oh, at least they get a land to live on. At least on the UN basic principle of guidance, the house supposed to be already built. The drinking water is supposed to be already, they're supposed to have that. They're supposed to have appropriate toilet facility on arrival. So when they arrive to this new land, the house should be done. Everything should be done. They should be resettled from their old home to new home. This is something the homeowner put together. And look at the land. There's not even a tree there. How hot and dry. And where's the toilet from here? You couldn't even see the toilet. And where's the clean drinking water? No, that's nothing clean and nothing nice and nothing appropriate regarding this picture. And this is what 10,000 families are facing right now. So it's very, Brittany is very mad, but I'm very sad that the situation of the country, that it's getting the last 40 years, nothing improved. If it 40 years and people are living, people are, the poor, the gap between the poor and the rich are very close. I'm not criticizing, but the gap of the rich and the poor is so far away. Like I think I heard someone said that the rich can live 100 more life, and they still rich, where the poor, they couldn't even afford 3 meals per day. And when you're talking about that young woman, she's borrow money. She and her family probably going to force to migrate to the border to work in Thailand, most likely, because I don't know what people say about tourism in Cambodia or economy in Cambodia. Basically, it's scary right now, and the supermarket is very quiet. Tourism is very quiet, so there's no job, period, in Cambodia. So, anything else that we want to add, Brittany?
Well, just briefly at the end here, and maybe we can pick this up soon, is the recent surge in arrest and beatings of opposition members, whether it be from CNRP or Candlelight Party. Just in the last 4 days, I think four that I know of have been arrested, and one man from the opposition party that was recently released from jail and has been critical of Hun Sen and the Minister of Agriculture on Facebook was beaten almost to death just yesterday. So he's in very critical condition right now. So this, beaten by masked men. So these are cowardly people that are targeting activists, youth. We started out tonight by talking about, the need for democracy in the region, the opening up of civil society, and the importance of protecting the human rights defenders. So I think it shows the fragility, the weakness of the regime and of Hun Sen that young people are continuously, every single day, being arrested, being thrown into jail, being beaten, privately being attacked. So let's continue to follow that. And also to provide support to the people that are in the hospital, whatever support you can provide to people, even $5 to help someone who was savagely beaten for posting questions to the Minister of Agriculture about the prices of rice. I don't think anyone would agree that they deserve to be in the hospital after being beaten by men in masks who were too cowardly to not wear masks. And just a reminder of the importance of the young student, the young man who is protesting every Monday, and to follow his story, to share his post from his Facebook page as he asks of us. And of course, to continue to follow the very brave Friday women who protest the imprisonment of their husbands and their sons, their family members weekly. I know that group is dwindling. It's shrinking a little bit because they're afraid because of these ongoing attacks and violations of their rights. So any support that we can provide, if you can make it to the protest in New York on the 22nd, if you can, send $5 to help the young man who is in critical condition in the hospital, share a Facebook post, write to your senators and congressmen in support of the legislation that is in Congress right now that would address some of these issues. Anything that you can do, I'm happy to chat with people about what you can do in your particular area and your circles and your networks. Because as I've said many times on this show, we all have some passion, some skill, some gift that we can give to this. And I believe it's our duty to do that.
And I want to sum it up when you summarize about the continued arrest, the continued harassment of the opposition. Hun Sen had been prime minister for 3 weeks, almost a month. Unfortunately, the regime doesn't change. Unfortunately, the cruelty of that regime doesn't change. Um, if you would say, oh, I'm just a little bit in doubt that, maybe it's for the better. Unfortunately, it's not for the better, and that's the reason why we are protesting on the 22nd, because we do not have any hope. We don't have any belief that he's going to be a better leader for Cambodia. And we can see for the last 3 weeks, the speed up of the rest, and Brittany said about the beat up this morning, I mean, yesterday in Cambodia. And also, you can never find the perpetrator, because those are by the state, and those are by the regime that sent out. And anyone who has different opinion, anyone that dare to ask for transparency, will get beat up, will get dragged anytime. So if you have any doubt of the leadership of the new government, the new no, they are the same thing. Even though the government is the head is so big right now, there's so many of them. There's so many of them that have master degree, have PhD. But at the same time, I'm going to say it again. Please solve trash issue in Cambodia. Take those people got education from the West. That they know that the West, there's no trash on the street. Please use your education and solve trust problem. Then we'll talk. And please do your part. Please speak up. Please use your voice. And I will be at the protest on September 22nd in New York, in front of the UN. Please join me. I would love to meet all of you over there. So please join me. So
Sounds good.
sounds good. And thank you, Brittany. Thank you, co-host, for being here. It was a great conversation. I'm hopefully to fire up Brittany enough to host this show. Um, so thank you so much, Brittany, for being here, and thank you, our audience, for being here. I wish you a good week and good evening. We will see you next Tuesday, and next week I'll see you on Friday and Sunday. So the events at New York is 22nd, Friday the 22nd on protest, Saturday the 23rd, solidarity flower fundraiser at the fundraising at the temple. So please join us. And like I said, I would love to meet everyone. So please show up and speak up. Thank you, and have a good evening.